We are here today with YT Boon. He's a managing director of equity research at Neuberger Berman, also co-manager of thematic strategy. And we try to address the theme of the investment theme of 5G connectivity. Jan, welcome. Thanks for being here with us. Let's start by explaining what is 5G and how can it be an interesting investment opportunity.
Right. So 5G, we believe, is a very important technology. It's actually the 5th generation telecommunication technology, which will connect a lot of future technology innovations, whether it's robotics, artificial intelligence, autonomous cars, connected healthcare, and so forth. They all, will rely on 5G in the future. So it is a very critical key component and building block.
And how is it an interesting investment theme?
So 5G is a very investment theme because if we look at how these technology and telecommunications have changed our lives and bring new economic growth to the industries and obviously to many companies. We're seeing many earnings inflection, strong earnings growth, driven by various new factors, new economics that are being driven by 5G. If you think about what we have experienced in 3G and 4G, the companies like Nokia, Ericsson, BlackBerry, those companies dominate our lives and generated a lot of strong earnings in the past. When 4G came, we have Apple, we have Facebook, we have Alibaba, Tencent. This brings a lot more growth opportunities. Now 5G will be completely different. 5G will be a game changer because it's no longer just about our mobile phones, our smartphones, or the internet, because we're talking about the Internet of Things. There's a lot more possibility. There's a lot more economic growth because 5G will impact many more industries, will transform industries, will drive stronger earnings growth. Third-party research, IHS Markit has mentioned that 5G will enable more than $13 trillion of 13 trillion US dollars of economic growth opportunities, and will bring more than 22 million jobs by 2035.
And how big is that 5G investment universe, and how do you, select the stocks to invest in?
Yeah, this is a good question. So we actually started investing in 5G about 2.5 years ago. And back then, obviously 5G was still at a very early stage. Back then, our investable universe was only about 100 to 200 stocks. Today, because 5G has developed a lot, we have seen 5G developed in Asia and starting to come to Europe and then also to the US. The investable universe continued to expand. So it has expanded from about 100 to 200 now to over 300 stocks. We look at the investable universe in 3 key areas. Number 1, network infrastructure. Number 2, devices. And number 3, applications and services. Now, these are the 3, we believe, most important investable areas. And within these, we have about 100 names in each of these investment buckets.
Sure. And what about the big risks that you face when investing in this theme? How did the COVID-19 situation and the Huawei issues impact the theme?
Yeah, so you bring up 2 very interesting news or interesting developments that we're seeing recently that has accelerated the 5G trend. So first of all, with COVID-19 crisis, a lot of us has to stay at home and work from home, study from home, or even see a doctor from home. This meant that we have to be connecting to the mobile or the wireless or the broadband network. And because of this, the existing 4G networks are no longer capable of handling such a huge increase in data traffic, because we're also shopping from home and doing everything from home. We're even doing this interview online through wireless connectivity today. Because of COVID-19, 5G, which was originally a nice to have technology, today has become a must have, because data traffic will continue to increase down the line. So COVID-19 crisis has brought forward a lot of these demand. Secondly, on the US versus China versus Huawei issues, these are geopolitical issues, which has been around for quite some time. We first had the Huawei ban about a year ago. There was previously a ZTE ban, and then previously Huawei CFO was detained in Canada. So it's been a long time. Now, what has actually happened throughout this period of time is that there is a race. US and China are racing against each other to try to get to 5G. This tells us how important 5G is. If you think about what everyone's talking about, data is the new oil. 5G is the pipeline. That's why the US and China are putting 5G at the heart of everything they're doing right now. This is I would say a technology that we've seen been politicized to a global degree because of how important 5G is. So because of the accelerated trends because of COVID-19, and also the geopolitical tensions that has driven more, that's been driving a global race. We are seeing 5G gaining a lot of traction, gaining a lot more momentum.
Sure. And why Neuberger Berman as an expert in this theme, and how should investors approach this investment opportunity in the active side or in the passive side?
Yeah. So as a firm, Neuberger Berman, as I mentioned, we started investing on an active management basis in 5G about 2.5 years ago, because myself, I'm based out of Hong Kong, and as a background, I used to be an engineer. I was an engineer by training. I used to be a microprocessor designer. I worked at companies like Broadcom and also Huawei. So this gives us a very strong background and a insider's perspective on how to invest in the next generation networks, which is 5G. So that's why we started very early, 2.5 years ago, when 5G was something which nobody actually know what that means until we see a lot more actions, which is starting to build up a lot more momentum today. And in terms of why we think active management is very important, because as you rightfully pointed out, the industry dynamics are changing very quickly. The COVID-19 crisis, the US versus Huawei ban, supply chain shift, ecosystems, and so forth. So you need a manager with a strong team, a large team, and globally located. We're located in Hong Kong, Japan, and also New York. We have a strong team that's able to identify all the new growth opportunities within the new 5G ecosystem. As I mentioned, there are 3 key investment buckets. We need a lot of expertise, and more importantly, we think that if you rely on passive management, you are going to miss out on some of the changing dynamics, because 5G is really about disruptive change.
Sure. I guess one of the key statements of this interview is that data is the new oil and 5G is the pipeline. I thank you a lot for being here. I guess it was very insightful for everybody that's seeing this. YT Boon, many thanks, and best regards and stay healthy.
Thank you.